BRLT is looking more like a technicals play to the downside rather than a fundamentals play at the current moment. But how low can this go? Will it recover? Well, let's go ahead and find out in this video right now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a Sunday night BRLT technical, statistical, and raw price action thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining us and the trading community and Discord called ARCa. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. Okay, so we are looking at BRLT on the 2-day chart right here. And as you can see, we are printing or in the process of finally breaking out from a long-standing rising wedge. Rising wedges usually have a bearish outlook, and it does have a price objective for us to look at. And the way we do that is by taking a trend line from the hypotenuse of the triangle to the lowest point of the triangle and applying it to the point of breakout so that we can see a price objective. The price objective overall from the point of breakout is suggesting to be at about $2.94.95, right around there. And if you can see here on a shorter term Fibonacci retracement, inverse Fibonacci retracement to be exact, we can see that we have direct confluence with the 2.272 right down over here. So we do have confluent targets. Now, if you can just take a look back, there is no price action back here. When we start to lose levels like the all-time low, which is around $3.60. This becomes a little more of a tedious process, and it actually diminishes the edge for traders like me. I'm a systematic trader. I usually use historical data in order for me to be able to gauge the direction or the price objective. In this case, since there's no activity before this $3.60 drop, my edge starts to diminish a bit. The good thing is that we still have some areas of demand or supply that we can actually look at, right? But for now, this is definitely what I'm seeing. Now, judged on raw price action, this last candle looks like it has returned some of its losses, which could continue into the early session of Monday. And what I mean by that is that there is a potential to where we can actually come right back up and test our shorter term not 618 at $5.63 before a continuation onto the to the downside. And this is going to be essentially a choppy action. As we approach or as we dip into lower levels, we can actually see that the one spot 272 from 458 is very much in confluence with previous supports of those candles to the left. You can see right here that we actually use this as a form of support before continuation on to the upside. So we can do one of these numbers as we go down, just falling as we go before a retracement. There is no guarantee that we can actually reach the price objective of this, considering the fact that it is beyond the biggest demand zone that this asset can actually offer. But the possibility is there, just due to the fact that the rules of trading a rising wedge are there, and this is usually how you acquire that price objective. Let's move on to the next chart and see what we have. Okay, so this is going to be the statistical side of the analysis. So, and we are looking at it in the shorter time frame. This is the 4-hour chart. Now, for the new viewers, you are looking at volatility right over here, represented by this indicator BBWP. Now, volatility is direction neutral, so we pair it with stochastic momentum in order for us to get a direction for the profile. Now, as you can see, this is similar to an RSI. As you can see, we are actually reaching oversold levels. And there is still room for us to be able to dip just a little bit more. As you can see here, the lowest iteration could be at about 0.82%. So yeah, we do have some room for us to fall just a little bit more. And what the criteria for the backtest, particularly to the volatility versus momentum profile, I have taken note of every iteration where we have started a contraction phase from critical volatility zone, which is anything beyond this red line here, above the 90 percentile. So The iteration consists of the duration of the iteration, the upside thrust of the iteration versus the amount of times that volatility versus momentum have guessed the upside correctly versus incorrectly. We have now acquired the metrics or the statistics for that criteria, and you're looking at a total of 12 iterations in which 7 were guessed correctly to the upside. We have an averaged upside accuracy of 58.33% with an average upside thrust of 14.87% over the span of just over 7 days. This is proof of work right over here. So in order for us to start applying this almost 15% move to the upside, we actually need to meet this criteria. Now, we need both of the, let me go ahead and dive right in here. We need both of the volatility component of BBWP and the moving average both pivoted towards the downside and beyond the critical zone, and also or alongside stochastic momentum pitched to the upside as well. As soon as we can get that, which should be, I'd say, within the next session or two, we can actually start to apply the 14.87% move to the upside. Please know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do say within these videos as a form of entertainment. I can't actually suggest for you to buy or sell any assets. Okay, I need you to do your own DD and we'll be okay. But yeah, as soon as we do meet that criteria, we'll go ahead and apply this. But now we understand the direction or the character or the type of movement that BRLT does as far as volatility and momentum, which is usually a component of sorts of psychology. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart to see what we have. Okay, now this is, I wanted to be able to show you this. We had one primary drive of bearish divergence right over here. And in this bearish divergence, which is usually created by making a higher high in price action versus a lower low in the RSI signal, we actually ended up realizing that downside move based on the bearish divergence. What I am noticing here is that we are in the process of potentially confirming 2 large drives of bullish divergence. And this is another smaller drive right here, but I imagine it already took place right over here by doing this move to the upside and then failing it. So yes, we do have 2 drives of bullish divergence that can be confirmed upon the closure of this candle, and we're going to definitely see this on Monday. Usually divergences are better for us to look at within a larger time frame, definitely larger time frame. Another thing that I like to point out is that I don't usually like to see bullish divergences or divergences in general printed from the oversold or overbought areas. I would usually like them to be more in the middle of the RSI, 70 top and 30 bottom within this area here. But it is a larger time frame and they are divergences, so we do have to give them some credit. Okay, so let's open up a multi-pane to get a bias and direction for the short term, for the immediate short term. Let's see. We're going to start with the 30-minute. Okay. Now, please bear in mind that we do have the FOMC minutes coming up on Wednesday, which could lead to some sideways trading or a potential downside move in fear of what they're going to say or preparation for that event. So the 30-minute time frame is within the bear strength percentile. What I mean by this is this, you guys. So I do have RSI properties diagram right over here so that you can be able to see. So this upper half is the bullish control zone and this bottom half over here is the bearish control zone. Okay, so we do have almost a neutral direction suggestion from the 30-minute RSI signal here. So now the moving average versus the signal is suggesting a continuation onto the upside, but this could likely be very corrective. We can't give this too much credit. Let's see a micro time frame like 15-minute. Okay, 15-minute is suggesting a move to the upside, which is in accordance to what we're talking about potentially testing this not 618 before a continuation onto the upside. So we could possibly see that in the very I can't speak English, early session to actually potentially the early pre-market to the early session, we could potentially see that move to the upside, followed by a retracement. Now, the buy hourly is suggesting a continuation onto the upside. However, we are within the deep areas of the bear strength percentile, which usually means that we can be gravitated right back into oversold percentile. Okay, so now the 6-hour time frame, this is when we can start actually applying some more credit for the coming sessions. The 6-hour time frame is suggesting an absolute continuation to the downside, and the moving average is above us, which is bearish. So this is likely to be diving into the oversold percentile soon. We already saw the 12 hours, so we're going to see the daily. And the daily is definitely almost at a nosedive right here, and it is suggesting a continuation onto the downside, well within the bear strength percentile. So, which leads me to believe that we can see, based on the suggestions right over here, considering the 15-minute micro time frame, we can definitely see a test of this knot 618, potentially the knot 382 of the larger time frame at 583. So we have a gap, not a gap. We have a range between 563 and 583 as a resistance range before us making a continuation onto the downside and seeing how the daily is that aggressive. Actually, let's look at the buy daily too, just in case. Let's see. Yeah, oh my goodness. Okay, so we are definitely going down, and it looks like we can with the Monday session or Tuesday session, we can potentially reach all the way to 402 at the 1.618 golden mean. Please watch your longs on this, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. But I think this is a pretty good place for me to leave off the video. I'm sorry, what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to leave the links in the description for you to consider joining a trading community, and that community is called ARCa. So, but with that said, I will wish you a good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.